The chill of the handcuffs gripped Ainsley Brundage's wrists as the police pushed him out of the subway. A sea of strangers' eyes stared and judged. Hooligan, rascal, imp. Most would not guess that Brundage's dearest dream is to attend a school like Harvard Law, or that it is likely that he will. Brundage, 19, dances illegally inside subway cars to feed a small but steady flame inside him. He grew up in Bushwick, Brooklyn, and is saving each dollar toward his dream of going to college upstate, far away from negative influences. His mother and stepfather worry about tuition and test scores and would prefer that he register at Borough Manhattan Community College. But Brundage is determined to break away from New York City and the confines of his sad past. The signs of genius are there. Brundage skipped 3rd grade, scored at a 12th grade reading level in the 4th grade, skipped the 5th grade. Then, a series of troubled periods eventually led him to drop out of high school. He began dancing in the subway 5 years ago, when he was too young to get a job but old enough to have self-determination. He needed to feed himself and his 2 hungry siblings. He said, "My mom had to work and we had no food to eat after school." One of his close friends in high school sold crack for $3,000 a week. He had nice clothes and pretty girlfriends. He asked Brundage to join the business, but Brundage chose to dance instead. As the NYPD cracks down on subway performers with the return of its broken windows policing strategy, criminal law experts are divided on the merits of the tactic. The broken windows theory is based on the idea that urban disorder, such as broken windows and graffiti, suggests that the area is uncared for. Hence, the place is more susceptible to higher crime because criminals are less likely to be stopped there. But David Greenberg, a sociology professor at NYU, said it would be a stretch to subsume acrobatic dancers under the broken windows concept. In fact, it would be ridiculous, he said. Experts who both support and oppose the tactic agree that there is no empirical evidence that performing on the subway will lead to higher crime. However, it can be dangerous to perform acrobatic movements inside moving subway cars. A subway dancer who did not wish to be named said he accidentally kicked a rider during his first performance. Some experts feel that any support for dangerous behavior can have negative consequences. George Kelling, one of the social scientists who introduced the concept of broken windows in 1982, said, "If you allow that behavior, what other behavior will you allow?" Brundage said he was arrested 14 times in the last 5 years for dancing inside subway cars. NYPD verified 7 of the arrests, plus additional sealed arrests. He spends 1 night, sometimes 2, behind bars as he waits to see a judge. He has never been charged with a crime. Brundage said, "I'm disappointed with more than angry when I get arrested. The police are just doing their job. The person I should be angry at is de Blasio or Bratton." As a prequel to law school, Brundage dreams of attending Mohawk Valley, a community college 6 hours away from the city in Utica, New York. It has a better environment. The campus has green, open spaces and nice facilities. But most importantly, Brundage has no bad connections there. It's a more expensive college, though. The tuition is $3,810, and it costs around $3,000 more to live on campus. The school also requires a student to have a minimum GED score of 2,400 in order to stay in the dormitory. It seemed that Brundage would not get past these 2 hurdles. Federal FAFSA rules deemed that his household income was too large to get full financial aid, but his family did not have the money to pay for his dorm. Brundage asked his mother to take out a loan for him, but she did not think it was wise to do so. From the money made from dancing, Brundage could only pay $1,000 out of his own pocket. Since he didn't have a credit history, he was only able to take a small $2,000 loan to pay for the first semester. But he still needed around $4,000 to cover his tuition and the school's additional fees. $130 for a student activity fee, another $140 for a technology fee, studio lab fees, etc. Not to mention he needed books, a laptop, and a hamper. "I'm not going to be able to go, am I?" he thought. A month before school began, Brundage began starving himself to save money. He ate 1 meal a day and performed 7 hours each day. He only lived on $10 a day, spending it on drinks, and one deli sandwich at the end of his day at 3 a.m. He once danced 2 days without eating, but he felt too lightheaded to do it anymore. Meanwhile, words from his stepfather rang in his head. Mark my words, be prepared for disappointment. I don't know why you're putting all your eggs in one basket, his stepfather would say. But Brundage makes more money than other subway dancers because he dances by himself. Kavion Wright, another dancer, said, no matter how hard I try, I can't do it by myself. He's brave. When Brundage receives negative responses, there are no fellow dancers to lean on for solidarity. But he doesn't mind. He's focused on his GED instead. A large factor of whether or not Brundage can go to Utica is how much studying he can get done while performing in the subway. He takes breaks in the library to read GED preparation books when he's not dancing. He took a week off to prepare for the GED, but that was all. Then the test scores came in December 2013. It showed that although he dropped out of high school in the 9th grade, in a short amount of time, he was essentially able to skip 3 grades again. He received a 2720 on his GED, which is more than 300 points higher than the entrance exam requirement. In the end, his aunt agreed to sign a loan for him to go to school. Brundage went to Utica last summer and scored in the 90th percentile for his college placement tests.